Hey everyone, Vidette Mayor here. Wanted to come in with this video and see if you are experiencing Hey everyone, Vidette Mayor here. Wanted to come in and see if you are feeling a little drained by potentially a soul lesson that just keeps showing up. There are a lot of us in this healing circle, in this space, that are feeling as though these life lessons and these soul lessons keep showing up over and over again to where we're like, oh my God, this again? I thought I had healed this. I thought I had put my boundaries up, and yet the word infiltration has come up several times in conversations that I've had with my own circle, who are traveling this world of raising our frequencies, of ascending into higher realms of being, higher states of being, who are doing the work to change our perspectives of this world that we have created. We have created this world collectively, and we also create our own worlds based on the decisions and the perceptions that we have operated in up until this point. And many of us have been on this the spiritual journey for many years now, and understand that the challenges that show up are simply reflections of an old way of being, an old belief system, old patterns of behaviors that we use, that we operated in to create our individual worlds, and collectively the outside world of everything that we're seeing is a culmination of our collective beliefs and behaviors. So we can see in our outer world exactly how we're operating, and the filters in which we are operating within. When I look out into the world, I understand as a collective we have greatly been misguided by our inner consciousness. This inner consciousness has come from the collective beliefs that we've been taught in growing up. It's the inner collective of patterns and behaviors and narratives that we have agreed to operate within. And in these last few years, because of what we have experienced as a collective, and many of us individually on our own journeys have started to wake up, so to speak, have started to take responsibility for the people, the circumstances, and the situations that have shown up in our lives that we say no more. So for me personally, I've been on the journey of purging and removing that in my life that has no longer served me, that I have chosen, that I've allowed in my life. And that looks a lot like relationships and circumstances that I no longer want, and feel like I've been on the journey for a while on removing that stuff from my life, and yet it feels as though they keep showing up. So what I've experienced in the last few days actually is a reprising of the same situations and relationships that showed up again, and I'm like, gosh, it's the same thing. And yet here's the lesson that I have come to know, and this isn't really my own work. I've done my own work around it, and yet I'm surrounded by a beautiful circle of healers and friends and spiritual mentors that I connect with when these lessons come back up, and I reach out and say, help me look at this from a different perspective, because all the different perspectives I looked at it and thought I've healed is coming in again into my awareness, into my presence. And I feel really drained, and I feel like I'm done. And yet the one thing that keeps coming up is the personal responsibility piece. And one of my beautiful colleagues said the other day on our call, it's all about the response ability, and how do we have the ability, and how can we switch the ability to respond to these very things that come up, because it's only in responding differently that we actually get the lesson and we can actually move into the flow and abundance of life after that lesson. So if you have something that is completely draining you and it keeps showing up, what I would recommend is taking a look at, how are you responding? I have responded very differently and taken more of an assertive nature and response in dealing with these relationships. And the assertive response is, I am done here. You can go do your thing. I will do mine the way that I wish. And if you need to spew out what you'd like, if you need to think what you think, then have at it. I am okay here. And instead of explaining and trying to dig and trying to give an explanation of why I am taking the stance I am, there is no more explaining. And the response and the ability to respond differently shows me how far I've come with these relationships and circumstances that I'm being presented with all again. So if you're feeling drained, I understand it. And if you're feeling drained, know that when we are at the bottom of our barrel is when we completely have emptied every single thing that we need to empty. We have purged. We have gotten out everything so that we are an empty bucket. And when we're an empty bucket, then we get to choose what fills that. And the beauty of what I choose to fill that bucket with now is abundance of experiences and joy and laughter and finding new relationships and new experiences to then be able to replace all of the stuff that we've been working so hard to clear. So keep doing the work. You're so close. I'm so close. We are here to learn these lessons, to evolve our souls. As we evolve our souls, our consciousness rises, our frequency rises. We are being helped by these solar energies coming in from outside of our planet. And these energies are helping us to bring these densities, these final densities. When we thought we were done, they come up, just the little bubbles come up, and they're getting easier and easier to respond to. Even though we're drained, we are still responding differently. And I know that you are too. If you are here, I get where you're at, because I'm with you, and there are thousands and thousands of us that are choosing to respond differently, to take responsibility and personal responsibility for anything that shows up, because we understand in the level of consciousness that we're in that we have created it, therefore it is ours to clear and purge. So keep going. We're almost through this. The truth is about to be exposed in whatever situation you're talking about or you're experiencing. We're also about to see a lot of truth be exposed in our global situations, our global the global aspects that we may be watching unfold. The truth is about to be exposed, and there are going to be many, many people who are just starting the process of saying, oh my gosh, I had no idea. How am I going to respond to this? And it's going to be yours, sweet soul, to help and just to help these people. So our job is to clear our own stuff so we could be of service to those who are going to be in great need of support in the upcoming weeks and months. So stick with it. You're almost there. Thanks for being part of this beautiful time with me, and thanks for doing the work to raise your perspective, to raise your awareness, to raise your frequency so that we can all see the broader picture and be able to support others who are just now going to see what we have already seen, and they get to then choose how they respond. Thanks for being here. Mwah.